Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video. Today's video, it is unfortunately time to put that European high in the rear view as we have yet another cup final coming this weekend and it's away versus Dundee United. Didn't call them wankers, Craig. Just get on with it. Just get on with the video. Before we go any further on with today's video, as always, a bit of a cheap plug, but if you enjoy the channel, why not help the channel out by hitting that subscribe button? It's free, doesn't cost you a penny, and the nation is well and truly on our way towards 55k, so if you can help us out, that'd be greatly appreciated. And you know what, as it is Dundee United, let's just get on with the video then, shall we? And diving right into the old oppositional preview, let's get a wee update on how Dundee United have been getting on since we pumped them 4-0 at Ibrox. That was a good game, wasn't it? But all joking and all that aside, to be fair to Dundee United so far this season, they are having a pretty damn good season. As I'm currently recording today's video before another ball is kicked, they sit 6th in the league and they're actually closer point-wise to Celtic than Celtic are to us. Showing that they have a wee bit of football about them, ladies and gentlemen. If you actually narrow in on how they've been getting on since we bet them 4-0 at Ibrox, 9 league matches has passed, and during that time they have become one of the most consistent teams in the SPFL, because in that run they've actually only lost 2 league matches, and weirdly both of those losses, by the way, have been to Livingston. I know, it's weird. They must have got shits for the chippy or something. But regarding that impressive 9-game streak, they've got 2 losses in there, 4 draws and 3 wins, which is pretty impressive coming from a team that's promoted from the old championship. And you know what, the longer the season is actually going, the more Dundee United is actually adjusting to this league, and the more that the 3-5-2 that they absolutely love is starting to cause issues to teams. Now, it is still the same 3-5-2 that they brought to Ibrox, and we rained 26 shots on their heads, but since that game it's had success versus teams like Aberdeen, who, if you remember, were flying at that time, went against Dundee United and got a 0-0 draw and couldn't break through the actual team. And the way that they actually set up and the way that they play is actually very reminiscent of how Leeds play in the Premier League. That individual battle, one man on one man, you have to go out there and win that individual battle versus your opposite on the other end of the park. And I just look at this game of football and I think of guys like Kent, if they can beat that guy who is charged to stop and slow him down, there will be spaces there to exploit, and that has been their Achilles heel all season long. If their player loses that 1v1 battle, there is space there, so fingers crossed there's plenty of spaces being created the more. And you know what, that's just kind of done and dusted with the old Dundee United preview right frickin' there. Now, some of you may be surprised we haven't had a big section breaking down the fact that they've got 9 players self-isolating, because the media will have you believe they're pretty much playing the ball boys and the guys that make the Bovrils versus Rangers and more. That's what's kind of been banged up on that side. But if you actually look beyond that BS and the clickbait, they've still got the majority of their first team. They've still got their #1 goalie, they've still got Reynolds, they've still got Connolly, they've still got Harks, they've still got Shanklin and McNulty. The only change from the previous game before the 9 players were ruled out and their latest game versus Livingston was 1 player, and it was Nicky Clark coming out of the first team and Lauren Shanklin going in to the first team. A little bit different than what's actually being portrayed. So I wouldn't be putting too much stock in the 9 players that's self-isolating for Dundee United. My personal feelings to one side about the team: they are a good football team and they are a dangerous football team, as they have 2 guys up top that can put the ball in the back of net if you give them a little bit of space, and you know exactly what kind of game it's going to be the more. They're going to look to out-battle us, they're going to look to outrun us, and they're going to look to out-fight us, which is 3 things, thankfully, we've been very good at this season. And with the oppositional preview done and dusted, it's time to flip over and talk about what matters most, and that is of course Rangers. And as the smile's growing here, it's because I just love talking about Rangers things, but also these Rangers previews are actually getting easier and easier, because every single person watching today's video knows exactly what is needed from a Rangers perspective. It is 3 points, nothing less, nothing more. It's a cup final. We need to go out there and win it. And you know, so on that cup final mindset that the players and manager have this season is very reminiscent of Brady and Belichick's mindsets over in the NFL and how they had their decades of success. Never getting too excited about one thing, no getting too down about another. It is that next game mindset that is quite clearly ingrained in this Rangers team this season. Because if you cast your minds back to last season, that just wasn't the case, because we had great result after great result in Europe, but we couldn't flip the switch and go in to the weekend. But all that is completely gone from our minds, because me and thee know no matter who is selected in that starting 11, who's fit, who's out, it doesn't matter. The Rangers team will be attacking the game the exact same way, and that's with that ruthless, aggressive nature to go there and get all 3 points. Now, regarding the actual Rangers press conference, there was one major talking point, and as soon as I heard, I went, that is perfect. I would love to ask you your opinion on this. And surprise, surprise, it was all about Mr. Glenn Kamara, who is just shining so bright right now and just putting performance after performance. He's performing that well, by the way. It makes me, having a 6-7 weeks ago, have to say 5 players that I want to keep at the football club, because some people were ready to write that laddie off and move in a different direction, but he's bounced back and he's just back to being the Rolls Royce that we all knew he could be. But because he's putting performance after performance to an international level, European level and domestic level, Gerrard has came out yesterday and today saying that the man deserves a new contract, not only to put off the people that's buzzing around and starting to have a look at Glenn Kamara, but also just reward the player for everything he gives, because he's an integral part of the actual team. Gerrard said it numerous times. You can see what he thinks of the laddie, and I just wanted to take that right in today's video and just ask you your thoughts and opinions on Kamara so far this season, because to me, I still think he flies underneath the radar in my opinion, because you've got guys like Scotty Arfield saluting his way in to all our hearts. You've got Tavernier being the best player in Scotland by a mile. You've got Kent, you've got boys like Goldson playing out their skin, but I still feel like Kamara just gets often overlooked. So I just wanted to ask you, what is your thoughts and opinions? Do you think Kamara deserves a new contract? Get your thoughts down there in the comment section below about Kamara's contract situation. On. Myself, my opinions on it, you sign him. You just go bang, Glenn Kamara, please stay here for many, many years, because this is a laddie that's got so much talent, so much ability, and he's shining in every competition that he plays. This is a lad that's going to the Euros next year. Yeah, it's next year. It's Euro 2020 and 21. It's kind of messing my mind up. But this is a guy that's going to an international competition, being a vital mainstay in his national team side, and that's just going to get more attention and more respect. I just like the fact that we're at this stage now that we've got players that is getting buzzed around and people are looking at, and Glenn Kamara is a major part of that. So whatever he wants, I'd sign him for a long-term contract and just keep our fingers crossed that he's here throughout that contract, because one day I have absolutely no doubt that he will go down south or maybe even abroad to Italy for a hell of a lot of money. But I just hope that's in a very long time and he does more saucy Glenn Hings in the old Rangers shirt. And and it just blows my mind every time I see that laddie that he costs £50,000. Dundee should have checked the spam folder on that one. But anyway, let's get on to some Rangers team news then, shall we, to give you a wee update on who's fit and who's not fit to help you with your prediction ons. Now, thankfully, the smile is just getting wider, people, because there is no fresh injuries from Thursday, so you almost have a blank canvas to build whatever team you want in your old mind. There's been no fresh injuries or no fresh knocks or anything like that, and we did also get the good news that both Ryan Jack and Helander is in contention and available for the game if required, which is absolutely massive, because you look at they two players, they are two pillars of quality coming back into this football team that is already doing fantastic stuff. But now that they are in there, that again adds more competition for places, that adds more intensity into training to try and fight for the 11. And the players that has been playing fantastic since both players have been out now have to look over their shoulder, know they need to keep that level. They can't dare drop it, because there's somebody there ready to take the shot right after them. Now, for me personally, I don't see Ryan Jack going right back in to the starting 11 versus Dundee United just yet. I think there may be a couple of substitute appearances, then build them up and get them in that way. Helander, on the other hand, is a bit of a flip of a coin because you look at it, Balogun, just back from injury himself, has played a lot of games recently, as Helander was obviously self-isolating, and he was substituted off in the game versus like Poznan to give him a little bit of a rest. So you could see the Viking back doing what he does, and that prospect excites me as well because he's a fantastic defender. But having these options and discussion and adding more quality to our already strength and depth is absolutely sensational, and I can only imagine the headache Gerrard's got for picking an 11 tomorrow. Now, before we finish up and get to the old prediction ons, of course, George Edmondson and Jordan Jones are ineligible to play in the game, and your man Katic is still a couple of weeks away, but he is edging closer and closer with every week that goes by. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That is the oppositional preview. That is the Rangers conversation, and that is the latest Rangers team news. Now it's time for me and thee to take that little nugget of information, digest it, and try to get a wee prediction on. And Div, if you're watching, Sharp Div, stop getting correct predictions in the comments, alright? It's annoying me. But whilst you guys are hopefully getting involved down there in the comment section below, I will give you mine very, very briefly. I'm expecting a tough, hard-fought game of football. I don't think it's going to be as easy as it was at Ibrox, but I just believe in this Rangers team and I believe in the quality, so I do think we'll come away with Rangers 3, Dundee United 0. My goal scorers are as simple as it comes: Tavernier, Defoe and Kamara Roof. And as my camera ran out because I've been talking too long, that officially means it is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to sit here and talk about Rangers things with me. And if you did get involved in the comment section below, I will see you there very, very shortly. And all that's left for me to do now is wrap up today's video. So take care of yourselves, everyone. I'll see you in the next video. All the best and bye-bye.